Welcome to my homestead, y'all. I'm your host, Jenny Velicky, also known as the Funky Farm Girl. I'm working to create a home with a little farm, a little faith, a lot of food, and a bit of funky. I'm learning all about growing and preserving our food supply, raising chickens and children, and becoming more self-sufficient while leaning hard on Jesus. And I want to take you along for the ride. So grab yourself a cup of something wonderful and let's visit a while. Hey y'all, this is Jenny Velicky and you're listening to another episode of the Funky Farm Girl podcast. This is episode 48, Raising Rabbits. Today we have a special guest, my daughter Georgia, who has developed her own little business raising bunnies. We'll talk to her in just a few minutes, but before that, let's get on with our What's Happening on the Homestead weekly feature. This week on the Homestead, we are celebrating the first birthday of the Funky Farm Girl podcast. Because of all of you listeners out there who faithfully tune in every week to find out about our little homestead and the things that we're learning and doing here, we have been able to be downloaded in 50 states and 48 countries. Thank you so much for what you've made the Funky Farm Girl podcast into. It's already bigger than I ever could have possibly imagined, and that's because of you. So thank you, and happy birthday. Also this week, Easter is just right around the corner, and what comes with Easter? Chicks and bunnies. And so, on today's episode, I want to talk raising rabbits with my daughter, Georgia. So Georgia, how about you introduce yourself to the rest of us?
Hello, my name is Georgia. I am 11 years old. I love to do art, and I love animals and gardening, and I love chickens and to help around the homestead.
Okay, and you also really love bunnies, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us how you became interested in bunnies, or what was it that drew you to bunnies in the first place?
Well, I always loved them since when I was a kid. And one of the main reasons was they were cute, cuddly, fun to play with, and I just really loved their cute little faces, so I wanted to get some.
Okay, so when you started looking into raising bunnies yourself, there's a lot to learn. How did you find out what you needed to know about raising rabbits before you bought your own?
So I asked Mom, and I went on her computer, and I went on YouTube, and I looked at a lot of videos and learned about them from library books and stuff. So that helped me a lot.
And then you also went to visit our friend Mr. Goodman at the farm store, right?
Yeah, our farm store.
Okay, so tell us about the different types of bunnies. There's two main types, right?
Yeah. There's meat rabbits and pet rabbits that you can play with and stuff.
Okay, so how did you decide what kind of rabbits you wanted?
Well, my friends, they had a friend, and she was a bunny breeder, so that helped.
Okay, so you had a friend-to-friend connection, and you decided that you wanted to raise rabbits for pets and not for meat, right?
Yeah, I didn't want to, make a friendship and then sadly kill them.
Okay, so this breeder sold you 2 rabbits. Can you tell me about your 2 rabbits?
So Dandy is short for dandelion, and she is white and black, and she's just really tiny and cute. And then Sunny is short for sunflower, and she's brown, and she's a bit bigger than dandelion, but I never treat them different.
Okay, and what type of bunnies do you have?
I have mixed Jury woolly linehead dwarf rabbits.
Okay, so those are pretty small rabbits, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's a typical day like for you when you're taking care of your bunnies?
So I wake up, go out there. I make
Out to the bunny run?
yeah. And I get them out of their hutch, and I make sure they had food and water. I usually set out a blanket or a towel for them so they can, if it's windy, they can just run up to it and cuddle in it.
Okay, and what kinds of things do you give them to eat and drink?
I give them basic water. Sometimes I let them out and eat clover, and I give them basic pellets and Timothy hay. And they have this chew toy thing to make their teeth go down so they don't get too big.
Okay, do you spend time playing with your rabbits every day?
Yeah, most of the time.
Okay, and what about taking care of them as far as grooming and things go? What kinds of things do you have to do for your rabbits?
About twice a month you gotta clip their nails, and you gotta brush them a lot so they don't get mats.
Okay, because yours are long-haired rabbits, right? And those are really, really well loved for their fur, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so all this sounds like a lot of things that you needed. You needed a bunny run and a hutch. You needed to buy the rabbits and the feed and the feeder and the Timothy hay and the waterer and clippers and all kinds of things. How did a little girl your age come up with the money for all of those things on your own?
Well, really, I had a lot of help from my friend. We did a lot of things. We did car washes, lemonade stands, dog walking, hot chocolate. But I, at one point, just had enough and I set it aside.
Yeah, you were really, really diligent to set aside your money and not spend it. And then when it came time to spend your money, you spent it really wisely, because what did you do when it came time to look for a hutch?
I bought a used one.
That's right. We were able to find you a used rabbit hutch, and that saved us a ton of money. And then we went to see Mr. Goodman, and he helped you pick out the things that you really needed to have, right?
Yeah, he helped me find the perfect things and all the stuff I would need.
Okay, so tell me, there's some kids out there that listen to this podcast with their moms and dads, and maybe they're thinking, wow, that sounds really cool. I'd love to be able to have bunnies. Or I'd love to have another little business. First of all, can you explain to them what kinds of things you hope to do with your rabbits as far as business opportunities go? What are your goals with your rabbits?
Well, I was hoping to help Mom with the gardening stuff, and like my sister did, she got a job and she was able to get her stuff, and it helped Mom and Dad a lot with savings, and I thought that would be great for me to do, so I hopped in and did the same.
Okay, so are you hoping to use your rabbits for how are you hoping they're going to make money back for you? What are you going to sell from the rabbits?
So their droppings is really good for your garden. It's
great.
because
it's cold compost, right? It can be put right on the garden right away.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to sell the compost, the pellets droppings for compost, and then are you hoping to be able to maybe have more rabbits to sell as pets in the future?
Yeah. I'm hoping in about a year or so I can get more stuff, and I would get a boy, and I can become a breeder and give away rabbits.
Okay, that sounds like a great plan. So, for all those kids listening, now they have all the possibilities in their heads of what they could do with rabbits. Or maybe they have another kind of thing that they're interested in, and they're thinking, wow, if this 11-year-old girl can earn enough money to start her own little rabbit business, maybe I could start a business too. What would you say to that kid out there listening that may want to become a business owner just like you?
Go for it. You can totally do it. There's so many things you can do. You can do like the things I did. And you can do different things instead of just doing bunnies. You can do chickens, goats. You can also do other things that don't involve animals. Like you can garden, you could bake bread, and you could sell those things. And you can do all sorts of things.
So really, it's about finding the things that you're interested in and the things that you love to do around your homestead, and then finding a way to use those things to build income, right?
Yeah.
Right. So your sisters have done that in different ways. So Gracie is working on a roadside produce stand for this summer. And she's also begun to do some artwork that she's hoping to sell in a local gift shop. And Amber loves to make banana bread, and she has a couple people that she makes that for regularly and makes money that way. And she also does some babysitting. And then you have your little rabbit business, don't you?
Yep.
All right. So kids, Georgia is only 11 years old, and she's been able to build her own business. And I really encourage you to talk to your mom and dad about things that you could do to help on the homestead and maybe find some ways to earn some money or to make a little money of your own. So this is a shorter episode this week, but I'm really happy that we had Georgia on. Thank you, Georgia, for being with me today.
You're welcome. I was glad to be here.
So remember, Thursday is the birthday for the Funky Farm Girl podcast. And there's no better gift that you could give than to go onto iTunes and leave me a 5-star review. If you'll go to the podcast review highlight on my Instagram account, you can read some of the other reviews that other people have left. And also there's a graphic in that highlight that gives you all the steps that you need to leave a review on iTunes. So be sure to check that out, leave me a review, and send out a happy birthday shout on Thursday. Thanks so much for 12 great months of learning and growing together, learning that anyone can homestead no matter where they are, because homesteading is more about lifestyle than it is about location. I'm so thankful to have each and every one of you here with me. See y'all next week. Thanks for stopping by, y'all. If you're inspired by what you've heard today, the best compliment you can give me is to share the Funky Farm Girl with your friends. You can stay connected by following the Funky Farm Girl on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Until we meet again next week, remember to bloom where you're planted.